Headliner Nation, I got some banging Dynasty content for you today. If you're getting ready to do a rookie draft, when you get into the second round, the talent pool seems to dry up quite a bit. But let's talk about the best of the rest. A few guys that aren't considered high tier players, but could give you some really good output here in the near future. First up, Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver from Carolina, drafted in the second round. This guy by some was referred to as a light version of AJ Brown. In fact, it recently came out that Mingo was probably asked to block a lot more than what his predecessors had been asked to at Ole Miss. And because of that, some of his numbers didn't look as gaudy, but this is a guy that has an opportunity to establish himself with fellow rookie Bryce Young early on. And not only that, with Adam Thielen and DJ Chark on the roster, you've brought in Hayden Hurst, and you've got a decent running back in Miles Sanders. Mingo could see a lot of one-on-one coverage on the outside. I'm not expecting 1,000 or 1,100 yards or anything crazy like that, but to think Mingo could slot in for like 800 yards and maybe 7 or 8 touchdowns in his rookie season is actually some very realistic expectations. Luke Schoonmaker out of the University of Michigan wasn't really considered one of the top tier tight ends in this draft class, but he fell into the perfect scenario. Schoonmaker was drafted in the second round by Dallas, and he is going to fit right into that Dalton Schultz role. And the one thing about Schoonmaker is he's going to be a legit receiving threat. He might actually pick up on the game plan a little bit more because he's not going to ask to go out and block as much as other guys may be. When you think about tight ends in this class, you think about Dalton Kincaid, Matt Laporta, Michael Mayer. Schoonmaker wasn't really thought of, but in this scenario where really the only big offseason addition was Brandon Cooks, he has an opportunity to step in as a rookie and help out a little bit. But over the next couple of years, he could grow into being a very reliable weapon like Dalton Schultz was. Marvin MMs was a surprise in the second round, being taken by the Denver Broncos. We already know that Denver has quite a bit of receiving talent there, but we've heard these guys' names be brought up in trade discussions all offseason long. So while MMs might not do much for you in 2023, if we see Judy or Sutton traded anytime soon, MMs could really step into a role where he would fit a Tyler Lockett type of experience with Russell Wilson. A lot of people thought that Hayden Hooker, even after the ACL tear, had a chance to go in the first round. So falling to the Detroit Lions in the third round was an absolute steal for them. But not only that, he fits exactly what Jared Goff does. He's got that short to intermediate accuracy. He doesn't necessarily need to drive the ball down the field the entire time, but he does have the ability to do it. And he is a little bit older, so he's going to come into this offense a little bit more mature. This was a guy that was a Heisman candidate before that ACL injury. Is he going to make an impact in 2023? No, Jared Goff is the guy. But if the Lions want to save any money after the year, they could walk away from Jared Goff, and if Hayden Hooker is ready, he takes over an explosive offense. Kendre Miller in round 3 to New Orleans. This is a guy that could really end up slotting in right behind Jamal Williams. And with the chances that Alvin Kamara could face a suspension this season, he already has a path to RB2 type workload. At TCU, Kendre Miller ran through opposing defenses. This is a guy that is hard to bring down. He could offset Jamal Williams very, very well. Josh Downs in round 3 to Indianapolis was an awesome pick in my opinion. He's going to slot into the slot right away with Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman on the outside. But Pierce really isn't established. The tight end pool with Jelani Woods isn't really established. So Josh Downs has an opportunity to become the number 2 for Anthony Richardson right away. And because of his route running ability, he would be perfect in the slot. This is a guy that can win a lot of routes and a lot of mismatches over the middle of the field and give Anthony Richardson a lot of really easy targets. Devin Shane, running back, going to Miami in the third round. This is a guy that has a lot of speed, is a little bit undersized, but depending on how Miami wants to use him, he fits in very well because of guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They're so fast and so explosive all over the field that you have to have so much attention on them that a guy like a Shane could get lost in the passing game, and if he does in PPR leagues, he could become an option that maybe we need to fill into our flex every once in a while. My last player, Roshan Johnson, comes with a bit of a warning. I did a video a while back and I talked about why running backs didn't matter. And no, not because you shouldn't draft them, but because people get hyped about day 3 running backs in the draft and normally they don't become anything. And for those of you that may not be aware, day 3 of the draft is rounds 4 through 7 where Roshan Johnson was taken. 90% of the running backs that come out in rounds 4 through 7 don't end up making an impact at the NFL level. For every Dameon Pierce that we had last year or an Isaiah Pacheco, we've got 5, 6, 7 other running backs that people were super high on that did absolutely nothing. So be cautious with him. He's in a great opportunity because for some reason, if Khalil Herbert goes down or maybe isn't as effective as what we saw him be in limited snaps over the last couple of years, Roshan Johnson could step in pretty quickly. But if I had to put my money down on one guy from day 3 becoming a fantasy viable running back, Roshan Johnson would be that guy. And more than likely, you're going to get him probably beginning to middle of the second round in rookie drafts. Now, with that being said, I would not be surprised if the later we get into the offseason, if he doesn't start to go a bit higher. If you want Roshan Johnson, you might have to reach a little bit, especially if you have an end of the first round pick and you don't pick again till the end of the second. If you want him, you'll probably have to take him there. Yo, Headliner Nation, appreciate y'all tuning into this video. If you liked the video, hit the like. If you didn't like the video, hit the dislike. Whatever it may be, make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know if you are targeting any of these players in your rookie draft or if there's someone I didn't cover that you are going to be taking a look at. Stay safe and healthy, Headliner Nation. I'll catch y'all on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.